preferring villas to living in traditional beach hotels. We want to change tack again, this time focus on the insurance sector. And joining me in studio is Mr. Abel Munda. He is the CEO of Liberty Life Kenya. Karibu sana sir.
Thank you, Peter.
Now, insurance is a pet topic here at KTN, and the fact that the penetration of insurance in this economy is woefully low. And when it comes to life insurance, it's even worse. And the question many people really want to ask is that, is it a matter of innovation or something else? And having recently tied up with a global, leader in insurance, where do you think this is going to go in the near future?
It's a couple of things, Peter.
Yes.
We are looking at awareness particularly, and what we have to do is, as an industry is obviously create financial literacy. I think many Kenyans are not aware, and so it really behooves us as an industry to spend some money in creating that literacy. And Liberty Life is at the forefront. What we want to do throughout the country is to carry out literacy sessions. We carry out seminars where we will invite people to just tell them a bit about what insurance is, and even other solutions like retirement benefits that we also have on offer, what they mean to them. Because in a changing and dynamic world, and particularly in our country where we are seeing a lot of urbanization, individualism is setting in. You need to prepare for your retirement. You need to have cover for your children's education, so that in the event that you are not there, they are taken care of. In fact, we've carried out a number of research which reveal that the biggest concern for Kenyans is about their children's education. And we have suitable products at Liberty Kenya to deal with that kind of situation.
And part of that conversation is, of course, innovation. Recently, I attended a Chama meeting where, after having done a sort of merry-go-round to donate for, something that had happened to one of us, the conversation turned to the fact that there are insurance companies which now cater to groups, such that you can buy either a life policy, you can buy a sort of policy that guarantees something paid out to people in case there's anything, be it a wedding, be it a child, be it a death, some things like that. Is this innovation, coming in across the industry?
Yes, it is. I know we are doing it because we, as an insurance company, we have to evolve. Some of those traditional products that we've had on offer are no longer relevant. So for the chamas, how do we reach out to them?
Yes.
It is very important that we reach out to them and satisfy their unique requirements. So we are doing that at Liberty Life through what we are calling affinity proposition. So that these affinity groups, we are able to offer them something that is suitable for them, that can protect them, and obviously even in terms of retirement, because we know chamas, yes, they changa money, they contribute money every so often, but it's always not enough. So there is a gap that where insurance comes in, to fill. As we save, you may not save enough to cater for all your needs in the event that something happens to you. And this is where insurance comes in. So what is critical for us in the industry is to be able to reach out, to be able to reach these people, because the need is there, it's been identified, but how do we come up with innovative products that can address those needs? And how do we reach these people? So I think that is a critical question that we at Liberty are dealing with. So because of that, we are operate in more than 9 branches throughout the country, so that we are able to reach the general population.
My question, basically, to wind us up is, Kenya is a leader in mobile money right across the world. But when it comes to other financial services, take, for example, insurance we are talking about, it doesn't seem to be following the same sort of pace when it comes to penetration and access. Do you think this has potential in the future?
Yes, very much so. I know the industry, we have been accused to be a little bit conservative, and so we may have lagged behind. But I'm looking at what is happening now, and I'm actually quite excited. I mean, at Liberty right now, we are talking on how we can leverage mobile telephony to be able to provide insurance products to the people. We very well know that mobile penetration is over 80%. Smartphone penetration is over 35%. And we know with smartphone, we can drive a whole lot of solutions. So what we are working now is to come up with products, very simple products that can be driven by this or through this channel, because they have to be products that you buy through mobile telephony. No, you don't require advisory services. They have to be made very, very simple. And I think as we go forward, the industry as a whole is doing this, but Liberty Life stands to be at the forefront, at the vanguard of bringing about such required changes in the marketplace.
Abel Munda, CEO at Liberty Life. Thank you very much, sir, for taking the time to talk to us. We, of course, on that enlightening insurance note, want to change tack again, and this time talk, well, part of what he was talking about here in studio, the fact that we have to keep going to the masses with matters, consumer and other education. And on that note, the Nairobi International Trade Fair is currently going on here in Nairobi. As I had mentioned earlier, we have a team on the ground, and my colleague Joy Doreen Bira has been standing by to bring us an update on just what is happening, of course, with a few incisive insights into what our partners are doing over there. Joy, please bring us up to speed on what exactly is happening on this day when the official launch happened.
Well, Peter, the president officially launched the Agricultural Society of Kenya International Trade Fair show, and among the exhibitors here we have the Kenya Sese and Trypanosomiasis Eradication Council, or KENTEC, and they are actually trying to figure out how best to eradicate seseflies and trypanosomiasis in the country today to help beef up food security in the country, and not just in Kenya, but around the region. So joining us now to help us understand what this is all about, we have the chairman of KENTEC, that is Dr. David Wanyonyi. Thank you so much for joining us. A lot is happening in the country. Kenya is trying as much as possible to improve food security, but how much of a role does what you do play in making sure that we can achieve that?
Thank you. It's true that food security is a major need, and indeed it's part of the 2030 manifesto of Jubilee and the Millennium Call. We have a big problem when it comes to tsetse-fly menace. Food security truly has been a problem because of the tsetse-fly. One thing is that tsetse cause nagana in animals and trypanosomiasis in human beings. Somebody who is suffering from trypanosomiasis cannot work. An animal, or the area where animals are affected, definitely they lose the market value. Definitely even the milk content will be very low. So this contributes to the shortage of food. Therefore, we are appealing that maybe the government enhances the funding for the purpose of eradicating this particular menace in the whole country, and maybe by extension in the whole region.
All right. Are we aware of how much funding this gets and how much more we need to be able to deal with this?
Yeah, currently we are being funded to the tune of 0.5 of a billion, but we believe if it goes slightly beyond $1 billion, then we shall be very safe to work and maybe free some zones that are highly infested.
Sometimes they say it's not about the funding, it's also about the awareness that the farmers have on what exactly is affecting them in dairy farming.
It is true. We have been sensitizing people to be aware of the menace and what can be done. So the attitude change is there because of what KENTEC has been doing. At least we have been sensitizing people about it.
Okay. And going forward, how much more awareness do you think farmers need to have when it comes to eradicating trypanosomiasis?
Anyway, one thing is about the attitude, because where we have a lot of certain infestation, you'll find that people are mostly not very much enlightened, but we believe attitude change through the campaigns that we are launching, definitely people have to come up and change and maybe embrace the new technology in.
Some of these campaigns.
We normally reach the infested areas. We have our staff in the fields, like areas that are mostly affected, like the Mwea, the Bokoria Basin, Lake Victoria Basin, and all that. We have our staff who move around and reach the people and talk to them about the need for these changes.
So we'd like to get to Dr. Pamela Olet as well, who is the acting CEO of KENTEC, to explain to us some of the models that they have over here. And if you could actually, where do we start? Do we start here? Do we start here? We start over this way. All right. So she's going to explain to us how exactly these models work. And maybe my cameraman, Nabat, can come closer. Thank you so much for joining us. What do we need to understand about the models that you have here?
We have 8 species in the country. We call this insect a poverty insect.
Yeah.
but most people do not know how to recognize. So when we do sensitization, we normally carry the insects around for the farmers to identify this insect, then they inform us, then we can take the necessary steps.
All right, so just quickly take us through what are some of these tsetse flies that we have right here?
We have 8 species I can mention. We have Glossina longipennis. We have Glossina fascipes along the river basin like the water bodies. We have Glossina pallidipes, which is almost everywhere in the country. We have Glossina austeni along the coastal belt. It is just found along the coastal belt only.
All right. So these are very scientific terms that we're looking at here with some of these tsetse flies. But then how are farmers aware of these different species?
The awareness is there in some communities. But actually the biggest problem is the lack or inadequate awareness at levels higher than the farmer level. Right. Be they the technical people, be they the politicians. So this is the awareness that is making us partner with the African Union to create more awareness. Part of what we are doing today is actually creating that awareness. Right. And the awareness actually has an impact on the resources that are allocated for these activities in Africa. So if the policy people, the key people who allocate funds are not aware, really they will not see the need of allocating funds. But the communities actually know that they are suffering because of this problem. And this is why it is called a poverty insect. It is a world neglected problem, and we are saying it is high time the Africans themselves stopped neglecting this problem, because it's an African problem.
So take us through it all. If this is a poverty insect, how do we eradicate it completely?
Now, the first instrument you're seeing is called a biconical trap. When you go into a new area, you want to know that tsetse flies exist, or you want to know the densities of the tsetse flies, we trap them in this trap. So we can measure the density.
Does the trap have a name?
This is biconical trap. And tsetse flies also smell. So to enhance the trappability, there are attractants here. These are very scientific chemicals, but we know tsetse flies can smell them beyond 200 meters and come to be trapped in this trap. So we enhance the trappability by putting more orders around the trap.
Okay. And if we are to come over here, because I'm thinking these are also other types of traps.
Well, this is a trap because this is actually a killer. This color you are seeing here is impregnated with insecticide. The flies, when they come, they are big in the field, they are not this size. They pick the insecticide from this trap and they go and die elsewhere. So you can use it to reduce tsetse fly populations.
All right, great. And are these pesticides, insecticides?
These pesticides, actually, there are 2 technologies that are not being shown here. You can actually kill tsetse flies and remove them completely, the way Botswana government did by aerial spraying. So we have not shown that here, but we are just showing the type of insecticide that are used. So you can do aerial spraying from the air. You can actually do spraying using this machine, just spray the animal directly, clean your animals. So we are just showing you the types of pesticides you can use. And you can actually also treat the animals using some of this, because the trypanosomes are in the blood, so you have to inject the animal. So we have just displayed the type of things we use.
Okay,
Thank you.
That is Dr. Pamela Olet, who is the acting CEO of the Kenya Tsetse and Trypanosomiasis Eradication Council, KENTEC. And well, this is what's happening here. While we actually tend to neglect some of these issues, tsetse flies do make it hard to achieve food security. Did you know that? Well, I'll now hand you back to studio, where my colleague Peter Okaba is going to wind up the show, I guess, before all of you.
Well, Joy, just before you go, I'd like to ask you to say trypanosomiasis once again.
Trypanosomiasis?
Yes. And on that
And some people will say trypanosomiasis.
Yes.
If I'm to take on the role of Willis the Wordmaster.
Yeah. Well, indeed, thank you very much, Joy, for bringing us that enlightening conversation right there from the Jamhuri Park here in Nairobi, where, of course, the Nairobi International Trade Fair is underway. Of course, you viewers can expect that much more from us on that event tomorrow. This is where we bring it to a close today here on KTN Business Today. My name is Peter Akaba, and from us here in studio, do stay with us for more on KTN News for subsequent bulletins, and do have yourselves a good afternoon.
Zimbabwe and Japan concur on the need to reform the United Nations Security Council.
KTN News Business Today in association with UAP Old Mutual Group.